Welcome to our presentation. Today myself, Sandra, Aidan, Caleb, Kaya and Katie will be presenting what are the major factors affecting businesses and development in Bangladesh, China and USA.
The objectives of our presentation today is to describe how cultural differences and other differences can influence things such as the cost for multinational businesses to do business with other countries, the country's future economic development and the business practices of each country.
In our presentation, we'll be covering the cost of multinational businesses of doing business in different countries. We'll be covering government and legal system, around what regulations does the country follow when doing business and how it would impact multinational businesses. The culture of the three countries, what are the communication ethics like in different countries and what are they important for multinational businesses to know?
According to major rankings, Bangladesh finds itself as the most corrupted country. This includes sectors such as code decision making, Bangladesh police and tax administration. So what does that mean to international businesses doing business in Bangladesh? That means that effective development of private sectors will be difficult and at risk. Also, the minimum wage in Bangladesh depends on the sector that people work at. So, for example, if you come from economic sector, your minimum wage will be 1,500 taka. Additionally, Bangladesh is on the 54th largest export, and the relationship is between Germany, United States, and United Kingdom.
The minimum wage in the US varies depending on which state you're in. This is the same for China as well, so the minimum wage varies depending on your location. So the District of Columbia has the highest minimum wage at a rate of $13.25. The US also has a free trade agreement in force with 20 countries such as Canada, Mexico and Australia. They are also part of the GATT and have been since January 1948. The GATT promotes international trade by eliminating trade barriers such as tariffs. The Foreign Corrupt Practices Act became a law in 1977 and it helps combat overseas bribery and corruption.
So for China, the government and legal system, Beijing has the highest minimum wage of 24 yuan per hour. So like the US, China's wage varies dependent on the location that you live in China. Their main export partners are the EU and members of the country in the Association of the Southeast Asian Nations. And China had a long anti-corruption law called the PRC criminal law.
In Bangladesh, the wage gap of 2.2%. However, this is still the lowest in the globe. In the US, women earn 98% for every dollar a man earns doing the same job with the same qualifications. In China, the average monthly salary of Chinese women was 6,497 yuan, which was 78.3% of that of men, an interest of 8.7 percentage points over the previous year. In Bangladesh, people are respected because of their age and position. Older people are naturally viewed as wise and are granted respect. In the US, the Equality Act makes sure that workers are not discriminated by age, gender, etc. and are purely respected based on just their education and skills. In China, strongly influenced by Confucianism, which emphasizes respect for education, authority and age. In Bangladesh, to touch and stand close to someone the same gender is common, which can be seen as unprofessional in other cultures. However, when speaking with a woman, the space is often increased. In the US, the communication is a handshake, is an appropriate greeting despite age, gender or position. And in China, a handshake is the standard way to greet someone, despite age or position. However, elders are still very respected.
For likely future economic development, we'll talk about the current economy, the country's GDP, and the economic sample of our three countries.
In the long term, the Bangladesh GDP growth rate is projected to increase by 6.8% in 2020. The GDP in the United States was worth $19,390 billion in 2007, which represents 31.28% of the world's economy. In the long term, the United States GDP is projected to trend around $21,200 billion in 2020. The GDP value of China represents 17% of the world economy and has been predicted to increase to $14,500 in 2020.
Business practices. We're going to discuss working conditions, workers' rights, and legislation.
In Bangladesh, they do not provide a safe working environment, and there is an ongoing need to improve workers' rights and safety. An example of a poor working environment is when the Rana Plaza collapsed in 2013, killing more than 1,000 workers. Another factory also collapsed in Bangladesh, and a worker only received 2 weeks' wages in compensation, which didn't even cover his medical bills. They have also been ranked 145th in Transparency International's Corruption Perceptions Index. This means that they have a widespread bribery and a lack of punishment for corruption.
USA is satisfying the employers through imposed laws such as the Fair Labor Standards Act, which is making sure that people are being paid the minimum wage, as well as the Safe and Health Act, which is making sure that the employees are working under good conditions, which compared to Bangladesh is not as common.
When it comes to China, they're a country that's known for very poor working conditions, and recently they've been attracting a lot of attention from the media and human rights associations due to their poor working standards for their workers. Some of the reasons for the recent attention, especially with a particular country called Foxconn, are there's a significant number of suicides being done by the workers, frequent riots happening in the factories, poor living standards for the employees, employees being exploited for their wages and their hourly hours, severe accidents happening in the workplace due to machinery, and both illegal and underage workers being employed.
Thank you for watching the presentation.